Hey there, and welcome to Stoic Narratives Official. Today, we're diving into something rarely discussed but deeply powerful: why you should be selfish, yes, inconsiderate, and how that aligns with Stoic philosophy. Think of this as reclaiming your energy, embracing emotional detachment, and taking control of your life on your terms. Imagine living a life where your peace isn't easily shaken, where you're grounded in what truly matters. That's the kind of power we're talking about today. When we prioritize ourselves, we don't just protect our mental and emotional well-being. We find a path to inner peace and resilience that even the ancient Stoic philosophers valued. Stay with us, because ahead are the secrets to mastering this mindset shift, staying true to yourself, and building the courage to say no. If you're ready to unlock this wisdom, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's journey together to find your unbreakable strength. 1. Selfishness as self-care. Let's dive deeper into this. Why being selfish is an act of self-care. In Stoic philosophy, there's a simple yet powerful idea: protect your peace. Now, many people think selfishness means putting yourself above others, but there's a richer, deeper perspective. Here, being selfish means focusing on what strengthens your mind, builds your resilience, and brings clarity into your life. Think of it this way: self-care is about setting emotional boundaries. It's about knowing when to say no without guilt. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, often reminded us that peace begins within. If we allow every demand from others to dictate our energy, we end up drained, losing touch with our purpose and joy. When you say yes to everything, you're saying no to yourself. This is why learning to set boundaries is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. But how do you start? Start by recognizing what truly matters to you. Self-care requires us to pause, reflect, and ask ourselves, does this align with my inner goals? It's a practice of mindfulness, being fully present, and understanding what feeds your inner peace. For example, instead of agreeing to last-minute plans or obligations, take a step back and evaluate, is this meaningful for me? The moment we shift focus from pleasing others to grounding ourselves, we're choosing inner peace, a practice central to Stoic wisdom. Being selfish doesn't mean ignoring others. It means holding to your path. When you're constantly pulled by the needs and expectations of others, it's easy to lose sight of what you stand for. The Stoic mindset teaches that we must stay rooted in our values and beliefs, unmoved by external demands or the fear of disappointing others. Each time you protect your energy, you're affirming your worth, your peace, and your purpose. Try saying no without apology, even if it's uncomfortable at first. Perhaps a friend wants your help with something you don't have time for. In the past, you might have said yes out of habit. But now, remember, every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're stepping further away from the clarity and focus Stoicism encourages. Saying no helps filter out distractions, making room for what truly fulfills you. And this isn't about being unkind, it's about self-preservation. If we're always running on empty, how can we be fully present for anyone, even ourselves? This act of selfishness serves everyone in the long run. You're not only saving yourself from burnout, but becoming a better version of yourself, one who's calm, consistent, and deeply rooted in what truly matters. Remember, selfishness in this sense is a form of personal respect. It's the strength to prioritize your mental space and emotional stability, which is the foundation of a peaceful life. So next time someone calls you selfish for taking care of yourself, know this: you're simply following a path to inner peace, one that many Stoics before you have walked. 2. Prioritizing personal goals. Now let's talk about why prioritizing your personal goals is essential. In Stoic philosophy, the focus is always on what we can control, and that starts with our own path, our unique purpose. To live a fulfilled life, we have to align our actions with what truly matters to us. When we prioritize our goals, we don't just create a roadmap for success. We make sure our energy is channeled towards something meaningful. Imagine this: you have a finite amount of time each day. Every minute you spend saying yes to things that don't align with your goals is a minute taken away from what could bring you real joy and purpose. Think of it as protecting your mental space and energy. This is where Stoic concepts of mindfulness and control come into play. If you fill your time with the intentions and priorities of others, you'll find yourself feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, and even resentful. So, commit to prioritizing what's meaningful to you. How do you start? Set clear goals. Reflect on what you want to accomplish, not just in the next few days, but in the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what brings me joy? What aligns with my values? By focusing on what you can control, you bring yourself closer to a life of inner peace and resilience. Another key element here is setting boundaries around your time. Many of us feel pressured to accept every invitation, take on extra work, or constantly be available to others. But remember, each time you say yes out of obligation, you're saying no to your growth. Prioritizing personal goals sometimes requires the courage to say no. This small act is incredibly powerful. It gives you the time and space to invest in what matters. Let me share an example. Maybe you're passionate about learning something new, a skill that aligns with your vision. But every time someone asks for a favor, you set your goals aside to accommodate them. Weeks go by, and you realize you haven't progressed in what fulfills you. This is where the Stoic philosophy of consistency comes in. When you focus on your path with clarity and determination, you're honoring your life's purpose rather than scattering your energy on distractions. It's not always easy to set boundaries, and yes, some people might label you as selfish or even distant. But this isn't about cutting people out. It's about committing to a life aligned with your values. Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from focusing on what we can influence, our thoughts, our actions, and our goals. By prioritizing your personal goals, you cultivate a life grounded in resilience and inner calm. In the end, setting these boundaries and focusing on your growth allows you to be present and intentional. When your goals are clear, you gain confidence, self-respect, and a sense of purpose. So, next time you feel pressure to put aside your priorities, remember this. By protecting your goals, you're building a foundation for a fulfilled life. 3. Setting boundaries to protect energy. Let's dig into something we all struggle with but desperately need: setting boundaries. In Stoic philosophy, boundaries are essential for maintaining peace and emotional control. Think of them as invisible shields that protect your mental energy. When you set clear boundaries, you're sending a message that your time, energy, and well-being are worth safeguarding. Boundaries are more than just saying no to others. They're about saying yes to yourself. Each time you protect your energy, you're practicing self-respect. Without boundaries, it's easy to become overwhelmed, trying to meet everyone else's expectations while your own needs slip away. Imagine carrying a heavy weight all day, every day. Over time, it drains you. That's what living without boundaries feels like. It leaves you exhausted, with little left for the things that truly matter to you. How do we start setting these boundaries? Begin with clarity. Know what you're willing to give and what you must protect. Reflect on what truly exhausts you and what energizes you. Is there a pattern in what drains your energy? Often, it's not one big thing, but a buildup of small requests that add up over time. Identify these moments and use them as a guide to draw lines. Let's make this real. Picture a time when you felt pulled in every direction, saying yes to everyone's requests. You're working late, attending events you don't want to be at, or handling tasks for others that add nothing to your life. In Stoicism, protecting your peace means focusing on what you control and letting go of what doesn't serve your purpose. By setting boundaries, you keep your life aligned with these principles. But boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially when facing criticism. It's easy to feel guilty or worry about disappointing others. Here's a Stoic insight. Emotions like guilt and fear are natural, but they don't have to rule us. Seneca once said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Often, the guilt of setting a boundary is harder to handle in our minds than it is in practice. When you prioritize yourself, you're building resilience and showing strength in the face of discomfort. If you're constantly giving, you'll eventually have nothing left for yourself. Setting boundaries isn't about being unkind. It's about preserving your inner peace so you can give intentionally and meaningfully. The people who matter will respect this, and over time, they'll understand that your boundaries are part of who you are. Remember, protecting your energy is an act of wisdom. You're choosing where to spend your limited resources, your time, focus, and emotional energy. When you draw these lines, You're not only guarding yourself against burnout, but creating a space where you can thrive. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're pathways to a life of intention, clarity, and inner calm. So, the next time you hesitate to set a boundary, remind yourself that you're following a Stoic path to self-respect and resilience. 4. Selfishness strengthens relationships. Let's shift gears and talk about how prioritizing yourself, yes, even being selfish, can actually improve your relationships. It sounds counterintuitive, but in Stoic philosophy, focusing on your inner world allows you to approach others from a place of strength and calm. When you prioritize your needs, you build a foundation of self-respect, and that respect extends naturally to those around you. Imagine trying to pour water from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving without taking time for yourself, you're depleting your resources. Stoicism teaches that only when we're grounded can we bring our best selves to others. When you honor your own needs, you're not only protecting your peace, but also showing others the value of self-respect. And here's the paradox. By setting boundaries, you're making space for more genuine, fulfilling connections. When we're too available, people can take our presence for granted. It's easy for others to expect that we'll always be there, even at our own expense. But when you're selective with your energy, those around you learn to appreciate the moments you're genuinely present. Quality over quantity, a core Stoic principle, applies here. The moments you spend with others hold more weight because they're intentional. This shift creates a deeper, more balanced bond. Take a personal example. Think about a time when you felt drained from constantly meeting others' needs. Maybe it was with a friend or family member who always needed support, but rarely reciprocated. By setting limits and prioritizing your well-being, you likely noticed a change in that dynamic. You felt more present, more engaged, and less resentful. That's the power of boundaries in action. When we're able to say no to protect our energy, we can say yes, with a fuller heart. Now, you might worry that this approach seems cold or detached. Stoicism, however, reminds us that love and respect begin with inner harmony. When you honor your needs, you show others that you value yourself, and that sets the tone for mutual respect. True relationships thrive on mutual understanding and boundaries. They don't demand constant availability or endless sacrifice. This approach encourages others to grow, to respect your time, and to see you as an equal. In the end, being selfish in this Stoic sense isn't about neglecting others. It's about bringing your best self into every interaction. Relationships built on this foundation are less about dependency and more about shared respect. They're connections where both sides feel valued, grounded, and free from unrealistic expectations. By embracing this form of selfishness, you're choosing depth over superficiality, strength over weakness, and resilience over burnout. 5. The freedom of personal fulfillment. Now let's talk about something essential: the freedom that comes with personal fulfillment. In Stoic philosophy, there's a constant reminder to seek meaning within, to live authentically, and to detach from society's expectations. True fulfillment comes when you honor your needs, values, and dreams, not the desires of others. Think about it. If you're constantly striving to meet external expectations, you're sacrificing your inner peace. Living this way is like running on a never-ending treadmill, always moving but never reaching a destination that's truly yours. Stoicism teaches that real satisfaction is rooted in self-respect and staying aligned with your values. This means making choices that resonate with who you are, not who others expect you to be. Ask yourself, what brings me genuine joy? What lights me up? When you start to answer these questions, you're stepping into a powerful form of freedom. Pursuing personal fulfillment doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or relationships. It means being mindful of your energy and understanding that life is too short to live for anyone but yourself. Now, this path isn't always easy. You'll face doubts and sometimes the disapproval of others. Society often praises self-sacrifice and conformity over authenticity. But here's where Stoic resilience shines. Marcus Aurelius advised that we must learn to live unmoved by praise or blame. True inner peace comes from knowing that you're on a path that belongs to you. When you let go of the need for approval, you unlock the courage to follow your dreams without hesitation. Let's get practical. Think of a time when you prioritized something for yourself, maybe a hobby, a career goal, or even quiet time alone. Notice how energized and alive you felt when you allowed yourself this freedom. This isn't just coincidence. It's your inner self thriving, reconnecting with what brings meaning. By prioritizing these moments, you're grounding yourself in fulfillment. You're no longer dependent on others to feel complete. You're building a life that reflects who you truly are. But what about those close to you? Won't they feel neglected if you pursue your dreams? In reality, the opposite often happens. When you're fulfilled, your relationships benefit too. Fulfilled individuals bring more positivity, calm, and presence to others. Stoicism teaches that when we respect ourselves, we respect others even more deeply. By showing that you're committed to your joy, you inspire others to pursue their paths too. In the end, the path to personal fulfillment is a journey of self-discovery, self-respect, and resilience. It's about creating a life where your actions reflect your inner truth. This journey doesn't require the world's approval, only your commitment to stay true. So embrace the freedom of fulfillment, honor your dreams, and watch as this authenticity transforms your life. Remember, life isn't about meeting everyone's expectations. It's about the clarity, peace, and freedom that come from living according to your values. This is the essence of Stoic fulfillment, a life built on purpose, courage, and the quiet joy of knowing that you're living true to yourself. 6. Selfishness as a path to true happiness. Now let's talk about something many of us overlook, the role of selfishness in finding true happiness. It may sound surprising, but in Stoic philosophy, prioritizing your inner peace and well-being is essential. Happiness isn't found in constant self-sacrifice or endless people-pleasing. It's discovered in the quiet moments of honoring your own needs, passions, and boundaries. Think about it. When you're constantly putting others first, you're likely neglecting what brings you joy. Over time, this creates resentment, exhaustion, and a sense of being lost. Stoicism teaches that happiness begins within, not in the approval of others. If we're always focused on pleasing everyone else, we're left chasing external validation, a pursuit that rarely leads to lasting satisfaction. So let's start with a simple question. What brings you joy? This isn't about what society, family, or friends expect. It's about you. When you identify activities, passions, and goals that genuinely fulfill you, you're taking the first step toward inner happiness. Prioritizing these aspects doesn't make you selfish in the negative sense. It makes you self-aware, intentional, and grounded. As Seneca would say, you're nurturing the soul. Now, does this mean ignoring the needs of others? Not at all. When we prioritize our happiness, we bring a fuller, more energized version of ourselves to our relationships and responsibilities. We're not drained or resentful, but truly present. By finding happiness within, we stop expecting others to fill that role, relieving pressure from those around us. Happiness becomes an inner resource, one that we can share with others without feeling depleted. Consider a practical example. Imagine you've always wanted to explore a creative passion, maybe painting or writing, but each time you think of starting, there's another obligation or request from others. Gradually, your dreams take a back seat, creating frustration. But what if, for once, you chose to honor that creative passion? In doing so, you're not only finding joy, but also practicing self-respect. You're aligning your actions with your values, a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom. There's a deeper lesson here. Happiness flourishes when we live authentically. When we let go of the need to constantly satisfy others, we create space for our growth and fulfillment. This path isn't selfish, it's essential. It's about letting go of guilt and allowing ourselves the grace to explore what brings us peace. When you're genuinely happy, you're better able to connect with others in a meaningful way, free from expectations and resentment. In essence, true happiness isn't about accumulating praise or bending to others' desires. It's about honoring your own journey. It's about understanding that your well-being is not just a luxury, but a necessity. The Stoic path to happiness is a quiet, steady commitment to yourself, one that radiates strength, resilience, and a sense of purpose. So, next time someone questions why you're choosing yourself, remember this. True happiness is built from within. It's a gift to yourself and, in turn, to everyone around you. Embrace this journey and let your happiness become a beacon of calm, joy, and unwavering inner peace. 7. Empowering others by leading by example. Let's explore something powerful, how prioritizing yourself can inspire others to do the same. In Stoic philosophy, actions speak louder than words. When you live with purpose, respect your boundaries, and focus on what truly matters, you're not only transforming your own life, but also setting a silent example that others can feel. Real strength isn't found in controlling others, but in guiding them through your actions. Imagine this. People often seek validation from those around them. They look to others to see how to live. When you confidently pursue your path, practice self-care, and guard your peace, others take notice. You're showing them a life grounded in inner peace and resilience. Instead of needing to explain why you set boundaries or pursue your goals, let your life be an example. Over time, others will understand that self-respect is a foundation for true happiness. One of the greatest gifts you can give to those around you is the permission to prioritize themselves. Think of it like this. By respecting your own time and energy, you're encouraging others to value their own as well. This isn't selfish, it's inspiring. When people see you handle life's challenges with calmness and clarity, they start to believe they can do the same. You're modeling a Stoic approach to life, where peace and self-respect are prioritized, not sacrificed. Imagine you have a friend or family member who's constantly putting others' needs above their own, struggling with burnout and stress. They might feel trapped, believing that prioritizing themselves would make them appear selfish. Now, instead of lecturing them, show them the alternative. Prioritize your health, your time, and your goals. Over time, they'll notice the peace that comes with it, and maybe, just maybe, they'll follow your lead. This ripple effect is powerful. Stoicism teaches that we can't control others, but we can control our actions and responses. When you choose to honor your own needs without apology, you're sending a message to those around you that self-respect isn't just acceptable, it's necessary. You're building a foundation where others feel empowered to pursue their paths. Remember, boundaries and self-care don't create distance. They build bridges to healthier relationships. Those who genuinely care about you will respect your decisions and in turn might start to set their boundaries. By being a living example of resilience and inner calm, you're inviting others to find that same peace within themselves. So, if you've ever hesitated to put yourself first, think of it as more than just self-care. It's a path to empowerment for yourself and everyone watching. The strength to prioritize yourself becomes a gift to others, giving them the courage to explore their journeys. Embrace this role, lead by example, and let your life be the proof that peace, fulfillment, and respect are possible for anyone who chooses them. Have you ever woken up between 3 and 5 a.m. and wondered if it's more than just a restless night? Here's the truth. This hour can be a turning point, a rare gift for those who seek clarity, peace, and resilience. In today's video, I'll reveal 5 powerful benefits of waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., showing you how this quiet time holds the secrets to controlling your emotions, building a steady mindset, and achieving inner calm. All inspired by the Stoic philosophy. When the world is asleep, you're offered a unique opportunity to realign your mind, find inspiration, and set your day on a stronger path. The insights I'll share are backed by wisdom that's not only practical, but transformative, giving you the tools to embrace productivity, peace, and purpose each morning. If you're ready to discover how waking up early can elevate your life, give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for content that inspires you to find peace and purpose every single day. Share this journey with us. Your next great change could start here.
I prefer not to explain myself to noise. This statement is the last one, and it is the most powerful one. It is the verbal equivalent of leaving with a quiet authority. When someone continually criticizes your intelligence in an effort to cause anger, defensiveness, or reaction, a straightforward statement that is calm can completely end the encounter. I prefer not to explain myself to noise. When viewed from the outside, it would appear to be brief and even poetic. The strength of this sentence, however, resides in the fact that it does not contain any aggressive or argumentative language. You are able to communicate to the person who insulted you that their words do not penetrate your head, since you do not deal with turmoil. Reason, discernment, and comprehension are the sole faculties with which you interact. Through the use of this statement, you are able to establish an unassailable limit, a line that cannot be crossed by their provocation. If someone speaks ill of you, don't make excuses. Say, "He does not know me well enough, otherwise he would have said more." Epictetus highlighted this approach when he stated, "If someone speaks ill of you, avoid making excuses." Your response is an excellent example of how dia will be applied. You are aware of the presence of their cacophony, which includes the insult, the derision, and the attempt to destabilize you, but you choose not to give it any energy in order to give it some dignity. You are not able to silence them. Rather, you raise yourself above them. No longer do their remarks have the power to control your mental state. There is a dual level of sophistication in this response. Self-respect is the first benefit of this. Your decision to refrain from providing an explanation demonstrates that your time and attention are significant resources. It is not necessary for you to provide an explanation for yourself to someone whose sole intention is to provoke you. In the second place, it exhibits control. In a world when immediate reactions, sarcastic remarks, and reflexive defenses are expected, your failure to respond in a calm manner conveys a quiet power. Here, silence is not a sign of weakness, rather it is a sign of mastery. You have power over your mind, not over events that occur outside of yourself, wrote Marcus Aurelius. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. This exemplifies the teaching that was presented earlier. You have no control over the words that other people say, but you do have power over how you react to them. If you choose not to react to noise, you will be able to maintain the peace that you feel within yourself. You convey the message that not every piece of information warrants a response. Having judgment is your ally. Consider it from a tactical point of view. Someone makes fun of your intelligence or criticizes your views on a regular basis, anticipating a defensive response from an individual. Any reply will do. They are looking for one. Rather than that, you make eye contact, wait for a moment, and then say with a composed and authoritative tone, "I would rather not explain myself to noise." Immediate effects are being felt. The person who insulted you soon understands that their comments have no impact. They are compelled to face the fact that they are unable to provoke you despite their best efforts. You are able to leave with your dignity unharmed, your thoughts unaffected, and your presence commanding respect. This situation also teaches a crucial psychological lesson. When you choose not to participate in a conversation, you elevate the conversation itself, or more accurately, your participation in it. Reason, on the other hand, is sustained and intentional, whereas noise is transitory and chaotic. You make it abundantly evident that your attention is a privilege, not a right, by making the decision to engage only with justification for your interactions. You educate others that self-control is far more amazing than any verbal win, that genuine power is restraint, and that brilliance is not represented in argument, but in serenity. You also show them that self-control is the way to go. When Seneca stated, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary," he perfectly expressed the essence of this concept. The additional burden of emotion, distraction, and agitation that you experience as a result of reacting to insults is really significant. You are able to prevent unneeded suffering and keep control over your mental state if you choose not to explain yourself to noise. There is no disruption to your tranquility, and your dignity is not compromised. Lastly, this statement is considered to be poetic, conclusive, and absolute. It is a sign that the encounter has come to a conclusion without any antagonism. It accomplishes both communicating a boundary that cannot be broken and teaching a lesson without the use of a single harsh word. Your unwillingness to interact becomes a statement of supreme authority in a world that is addicted to reacting to each and every situation. Controlling your tongue is the same as controlling your mind. And when you walk away without giving in to provocation, you teach people a lesson that is subtle but profound. Control over your tongue is control over your mind. You have demonstrated that your energy is valuable, that your intelligence is unaltered, and that your peace is something that cannot be compromised. This is not merely a response. Rather, it is a representation of Stoic philosophy in action, a real demonstration of Stoic mastery in the face of uncertainty. This means that the next time someone makes an attempt to provoke, criticize, or humiliate you, you should take a moment to halt, face them in the eye, and reply, "I would rather not explain myself to noise." Then, with a sense of serenity and self-assurance, walk away, knowing that you have won the encounter without engaging in any conflict. From Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, Epictetus to Socrates, the most clever people in history realized that an individual's level of intelligence is not directly proportional to the amount of information that they possess. What matters is how effectively you are able to control yourself. When someone insults your IQ, they are truly putting your self-control to the test. They are interested in seeing if you would fail, react, or strike out at them. However, the Stoic approach is straightforward. React with reason rather than anger. Strength is revealed in each of these 5 reactions. Interesting. Tell me more. You might be right. I don't compete in that category. It's okay. Not everyone gets it, and I prefer not to explain myself to noise. Each of these responses demonstrates a level of strength that is significantly larger than argument. It is important to keep in mind that knowledgeable people do not want proof. Rather, they demonstrate themselves. That is via tranquility, by exercising control. In situations where silence is power, through silence. Because, in the end, the mind that speaks the loudest is frequently the mind that is the weakest. On the other hand, the mind that is tranquil is the one that should not be broken.